What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react to this video titled, Why Do Americans Eat What Europe Bans? Which, to be honest, is a really good question. I don't think that it's any secret that, us Americans, we're pretty unhealthy. But this almost makes it sound like we are trying to be unhealthy. Like, are you kidding me with it? Like, so you're telling me that there are foods that Europe has identified as being bad, and you guys have banned those foods, and we just eat them anyway? When you spell it out like that, it makes us sound, pretty insane, honestly. So today, I really want to check out this video by Type Ashton and learn more about this. So let's take a look.
This looks like cheese, right?
Yeah.
But it isn't. This syrup, no maple tree involved.
What?
And this was literally held together with wood pulp and sold to the consumer as Parmesan cheese.
See, oh no. Oh no. Geez, to be completely honest, a part of me doesn't even want to know. Like, I want to stop this video and just turn it off and live in ignorance. Like, and I think that's actually a mindset that a lot of us here in the United States probably have. This mindset of like, well, this is the food that's available to us. This is the options. And we are aware that it's like very processed and artificial, and that, we're aware of that. It's just that we kind of like block it out and forget about it, or a lot of Americans just don't care, but I think we need to see it spelled out like this, and we need to care more about this. But I think the first step for a lot of Americans getting past that denial, like a lot of us think, like the cheese is kind of fake, whatever. It tastes good, but it's not good. Especially if a lot of this stuff is banned in other countries, then we really need to change something if that's the case.
In the United States, you are likely eating food that's banned or tightly regulated in much of Europe.
See, that's the distinction. I'm aware that our food here is like very processed, manufactured, artificial sugars, pumped full of it, and packaged, and it's meant to have long shelf lives. And when you squeeze our bread, it like unfolds. So I've seen like TikToks of that, so I'm aware of that, but I was not aware that so much of our stuff is apparently banned in Europe. That, like, somehow, I know it all sounds bad, but that takes it a step further. That's like, so there's a ton of people out there who are actively avoiding this stuff because what, it can, like, what, kill you? Or, like, how bad is it? Why is it banned? That takes it even further for me.
And no one's telling you. Because
Yeah.
technically, they don't have to. In comparison to much of the
what?
European Union, there are far fewer protections on food labeling. And the ones that are there are only subject to what a reasonable consumer would believe.
What? So, so our product labeling is like way more loose here in the United States? That's one thing. In Europe, you guys have to actually label like what's going on in the packaged foods and the processes and the chemicals, and whereas here you don't really, you have to base it on what a reasonable person We're talking about the average reasonable expectations of an American person, which, oh boy.
This was, in fact, the basis for a U.S. district judge's dismissal of a Pop Tart lawsuit in Chicago. No
Huh?
reasonable consumer would believe that the filling in a Pop Tart contained a certain amount of strawberries based on the image on the package and its use of the term
Wait, what?
strawberry.
Huh? I know that there's some stupid lawsuits here in the United States. I think we're kind of known for that. Um, but somebody sued Pop Tarts because the strawberry Pop Tart didn't have, it doesn't have any strawberry, like real strawberry. Wait, is that strawberry Pop Tarts don't have any real strawberry, like at all? We are so far, we're so cooked. We're so far gone. We are this is not good. Um, and then the judge struck that down and said, "Ah, look at the packaging. Clearly, this wouldn't have strawberries in it. I don't know. It says frosted strawberry. I would expect there to be like, shouldn't there have to be like 50% strawberry to even put the word strawberry and not strawberry imitation or something?"
But fake foods aren't just misleading, they're also becoming incredibly common. According to a new analysis led by researchers at Johns Hopkins, they found that more than half of the calories consumed at home by adults in the United States come from ultra processed foods.
Ultra processed, fake. In the sense that for Americans, 50% of what we eat, like if we think we're getting cheese or fruits or it's not, what is it? What is it?
So, what is fake food exactly? And
Yeah.
how did America become the imitation nation while Europe said no?
Yeah. I mean, this is just so it's scary to a large extent. Like I think that's another reason that a lot of Americans don't even think about this. Don't watch videos about this, 'cause myself included. I'm guilty of this because it's like, for one thing, we're addicted to a lot of the processed foods like the chips and the candy and even the stuff we think is normal, like frozen pizza. Who knows? Like now I have to think, who knows what's in my frozen pizza? Like, not that that's not healthy, but for a lot of Americans, they probably think, oh, that's got all the food groups. That's kind of healthy. Frozen pizza, even that's probably not real. So I think a lot of Americans just kind of cope by ignoring it because it is. It seems to be like in all of our food. Like you have to really go out of your way to try to eat organically, or yeah, which we should probably do, or it'd probably just be better to change how our regulations, by the sound of it, how we label things and regulate the chemicals, and that would probably be the better route to go.
Well, let's take a look.
Oh boy.
Fake food or
Oh,
imitation food is a legally defined category in the United States.
you got all the American food groups here. Donuts.
Food or
what a what are these, like poofs, cheesy poofs, cookies, all the essentials.
the United States. It looks like food, it's sold like food, but it's chemically or structurally altered to be cheaper, longer lasting, and more marketable. Some examples: pasteurized processed cheese product.
Oh, it is on the labels. It is on the labels. It's just really, really tiny. You know, and nobody's reading that stuff. Although, after this video, I feel like I should read all the little tiny labels. So, oh my God.
Non dairy whipped topping. Bacon bits with no bacon.
What? This? Okay. Up until now, it's been like, okay, well, the cheese, sure, the whipped cream, whatever. The bacon? The bacon bits? Don't have bacon? I feel like I'm going crazy. What is it that? What? Huh? What is it then?
Wasabi from chemicals, vanilla without the bean, and truffle oil that's really just canola oil with a chemical flavorant. Same with this 100% cranberry juice. 100% juice blend cranberry.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like funny enough on some of this stuff. I mean, it's still not totally, I think it's meant to be vague, but it's like blend of four juices concentrate with natural flavors. Is that how European nutrition facts, is that what yours look like on the box? Because we definitely have a lot of that stuff on our packaging. Um, and yeah, like I think after a while you just even stop noticing or thinking about. I think that's a big. There's no excuse really for Americans, but it's just like after a while you just stop looking, you stop thinking about it. It's just normal to see juice concentrate.
It is disclosed, but the size of the font and the blend versus cranberry seems a bit misleading, don't you think?
Yeah.
And listen, I get it. Part of this comes down to economics. It takes over 40 gallons of maple sap just to make one jug of real maple syrup. That's why a single bottle costs over $10 and your local grocery store is flooded with a plethora of imitation syrups.
So at the end of the day, let's make no mistake here. Why is this a thing in the United States? Because I think there's very little government oversight over our health and our companies, and which can be a good thing and a bad thing. In this case, perfect example of how it can be bad. There's no laws restricting like how big the warning text has to be, and this is literally because companies in America can do it and can make a ton of money, a lot more money doing it this way by sacrificing American consumers' health. And but we're also to blame because we buy it. You can spend more and go out of your way to go to certain grocery stores and buy organic or buy the real thing if you put in enough effort. So I guess it's both of us to blame.
In a few other videos, I've explored and explained the EU's adoption of the precautionary principle, meaning prove it safe first. And I'll drop links to both my video on beef and chicken in the description of this video if you would like to watch more. And to a significant degree, the precautionary principle has kept many of the food additives, chemicals, and preservatives out of the food that we consume here in Europe.
The precautionary principle? I've never heard of that in my life. So, this is some kind of European philosophy, which explains why you guys have banned a lot of this stuff that we're doing to our foods in the US. And what? Precautionary, like you guys take on a philosophy of like, if it can be construed as bad for you, you're going to, for one thing, put a warning on it, right? It sounds like your packaging is better, your labeling is better, and whatever organizations in Europe that are responsible for banning certain foods are more, cautious than the United States. As simple as that, I guess.
There's a higher burden to bear on behalf of the manufacturers that the chemicals that they're using in foods are safe before entering the market rather than discovering afterwards and removing it from the store shelves.
Absolutely. That's such a great example. So in Europe, you guys ban it before it can ever enter the marketplace, before it's a part of your food. Here in the US, it's like we'll find out that Rice Krispie treats have a chemical in them that for the last 25 years that they discovered causes cancer, and then they'll recall it. Like, that's definitely how it works, yeah.
However, The presence and power of protected foods and labels is something that I don't think gets enough attention. These labels not only protect a heritage of food culture, but help consumers to more easily recognize and prefer the real deal over imitation foods.
Okay, so it is the labeling. This I hope they're going to go into this a bit because I really want to learn about what the food labeling is like in Europe.
According to the European Commission, a protected designation of origin is a legal label that establishes certain requirements for labeling traditional foods and wines.
Oh, this is like a little extra special. This is a special seal for traditional. What is a traditional food? Yeah, I don't. This is interesting. I don't. What's the criteria for having this? This is looks like a special seal or something.
The idea is that something about a place's geography and climate just simply can't be replicated. And copying the name without producing the food properly can devalue the product.
Oh, I mean, this is so many steps further than the US take. Oh my God. You guys not only label your packaging better and ban the bad stuff, you also like protect certain products that like can only be made in a certain region or a very specific area. And they have to, you want to know that this wine is from this valley in Italy or whatever. Okay.
So, for example, Kalamata olive oil, PDO, is entirely produced in the region of Kalamata in Greece,
Sure.
using olive varieties from that area.
Okay.
Champagne can only come from the Champagne region of France. Feta is a
Oh.
traditional Greek cheese made from unpasteurized sheep or goat milk.
Oh my God. Yeah. You know, here in the US, we don't care about any of it. We don't care about proving something is of a certain quality or which is a shame because this sounds really nice and actually really important for the businesses.
It is not a generic name and must come from Greece if sold in the EU. Gouda cheese must come from a specific region of the Netherlands.
Huh.
Irish whiskey must be distilled and manufactured in Ireland. Black
Huh.
Forest ham from the Schwarzwald. Roquefort blue cheese from France.
This makes a lot of sense. I don't know why we don't do this in the US or maybe we just don't have as many uniquely regional products here, but this is cool.
Bordeaux wine, Gorgonzola, Chianti. You get what I'm saying. But sadly, it is very difficult to protect these foods and their reputation from copycats once you leave the EU. And here again, cheese is a great example. In the European Union, Parmigiano Reggiano is a PDO cheese, meaning it can only be made in a specific region of Italy using traditional methods and ingredients.
Really? This Parmesan is from a specific region? You, you should see the stuff they call Parmesan here in the United States. What I think of as Parmesan cheese. It'd probably make Europeans laugh.
The cows that produce the milk can only eat grass and hay from pure pastures and cannot receive antibiotics or supplements.
Oh my
The
God.
cheese making process must begin within 18 hours of milking, and the cheese can only include milk, rennet, which is a naturally occurring complex of enzymes used to make cheese, and salt.
Yeah, we definitely have Parmesan cheese here that is nowhere close to this quality or standards.
Standard size wheel of cheese is produced, one that hasn't changed for hundreds of years, and it must be
Oh
cared
wow.
for and aged for at least 1 year before it's sold.
Wow.
Meanwhile, in the United States, all kinds of cheeses are passed off as Parmesan.
Yeah.
Whether you're in a restaurant or buying a pre-graded package,
Yeah.
it could be Pecorino Romano or Gran Padano. In the worst cases, they may not even be cheese.
See, I'm very familiar with this container. This is in like every American household. This container of cheese. And this video is telling me that this isn't even cheese. I don't even know how to process that. I can't comprehend that. Because I really like this stuff. See, that's another problem we have. All the horrible banned food that we eat, we like it. Um, which makes everything 10 times worse.
As a particularly bad scandal revealed, some of those canisters of cheese contained cellulose or wood pulp.
What?
Seriously. But even if you
What?
consider foods that don't directly have a protected geographical or designation, there is still a much greater degree of emphasis and legal protection on the sourcing and quality of foods consumed. The EU
Okay.
has a comprehensive farm to fork strategy that aims to create fair, healthy, and environmentally friendly food systems.
Yeah, I've literally never heard of this at all in the United States. I've never heard anything about this ever. This is not something we care about. It actually makes me sad that in Europe, you guys are clearly like putting in so much more effort and thought into the food you eat, which is, that goes into your body. It's important. And it'd just be nice to live like in the United States and not like if all the food were just subject to the same set of restrictions and judgment that you guys do, we wouldn't have to worry about it. We could just go out and buy stuff and know that it's, you know, not some toxic chemical antibiotic filled mess. Um, it'd be nice to just go to the grocery store and know that the products are, not killing you.
This strategy includes measures to combat food fraud with a focus on transparency and traceability throughout the food supply chain, including origin disclosure and labeling, requiring information about where food products come from. Every single
Wow.
item in the produce section of my chain grocery store lists where it comes from, and the local or
Wow.
regional products are highlighted. The flour
Yeah, like we don't care at all about this stuff.
for my cake, I can see which mill it was produced from. And all of these things taken together, the protection of foods that carry geographic and cultural heritage, as well
Wow.
as a food system which mandates transparency and traceability, means that when consumers head to their grocery store, they're not only better informed consumers, but they reinforce a system that benefits local businesses by fostering trust, enhancing product value, and enabling those businesses to meet increasing consumer demand for sustainable and ethical food sources.
I love how transparent Europe is with all your food. I did not know it was like this. It's like the opposite of the United States. You guys are so open and transparent about what's in everything, where it comes from, who made it, the processes behind it, and you're you're comforted knowing that your laws prohibit certain, deadly chemicals and stuff. It's like the opposite of the US. We don't care about any of that. And we've just accepted it as normal, and it should not be normal. This is crazy.
But I would love to know what you think. Have you
Okay. So, yeah, that's the end. That was I want to say that was a great video, but it was also really like disturbing as an American, like to know not just how bad our food is, but that a lot of our stuff is banned in Europe and that you guys have a bunch more processes and, criteria and ways of doing things healthy that we could do. We could do all that if we just decided. There's nothing stopping us, but we just don't. And our law, like, yeah, it sounds like we'd have to actually change our laws, and It would actually be pretty hard in the US to change it. But obviously we should. Like, obviously. It's crazy that this is the way we are in the US with food, and I don't think that is going to change anytime soon. So even when Americans get educated like this, like it's just like disturbing because, I still have to choose between the food here in the US and know that it's like probably made out of wood pulp or so. Oh my God. So yeah, that's why I say this was a great video, very informative, but also really disturbing. So anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on, the U.S. Americans eating food that is banned in Europe. Like, how crazy is that? And if you're interested in more videos like this, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.